Jessica, why can't you sell the rock stock?
Because it ain't my stock.
So you OEM for all kinds of companies?
Yeah.
And basically when we give you a mold and this is our design and you guys make up the mold and it's all done, it has to come through that person.
Correct.
Or that company, I should
Correct.
say. Yeah.
We're not about to do anything shady to anyone.
Are you open to taking on more clients like we were for you?
If they're easier to work with.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
we've got a couple custom gun builders that we're working on. So
Donald Trump here. We ran right over Nikki Haley. Sleepy Joe, wakey wakey. We're coming for you next. But I'm here to endorse the Shoot to Hunt podcast. It's the best. Just ask the people, look at the people, the beautiful peoples. Give it up for Jake, the bearded giant, and Ryan, the elk slayer.
All right, we're sitting down with not Joe, but we're sitting down with Jessica Brown from Stockies. One of the biggest questions both UM get, Unknown Munitions get, and Stockies gets is about contours and...
Yeah, I would say inlets in general, whether it be barrel inlet, action inlet, bottom metal inlet. There's always 100 questions because there's 100 answers. I mean, it's not really the consumer's fault. There's a lot of shit out there that can be confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Now again, for that, Jessica's looking at me like, no, it's not, bitch. Well, that's because Jessica knows it all already, and I've had to tell myself this during the podcast multiple times. Just because you live it all day, every day, there is still that one guy that finally wants a Stockies or finally wants to build something custom on his own. And there are so many fucking acronyms and inlet choices. Like, for example, why does Hawkins call it a Oberndorf BDL? Like, what the fuck does Oberndorf mean? And why are you still calling it that? Like, why don't you just make it easier on everybody? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
Does anybody know the answer why they call them that?
Well, Pacific makes the Oberndorf floor plate, and it just has a different style latch. So the latch is actually at the bottom inside of the trigger guard, whereas on a traditional floor plate, like from Remington, it's in the top corner. So it's just a longer latch, essentially. I don't know who it came from. The name Oberndorf is probably named after someone, but Pacific started that one.
Okay. That's pretty much the gayest name I ever heard.
And off the top of your guys' heads, how many inlets are there?
Fuck.
Like that are relevant to buying. There's always fucking way out there.
Almost every rifle manufacturer, in other words, like a Howa or a Browning, almost every main rifle manufacturer knows the butt has their own version. It's their own proprietary inlet and bottom metal mag because they want you to go with their stuff. Right?
Yeah. You'll see a lot of manufacturers coming out with 700s, though.
Mm-hmm.
Very soon.
Are most of them BDL or some of them M5 where they've made it? Is it like Arca that's all over the map for a long time?
I mean, BDL is still number one. M5 is definitely getting up there, but it's always been BDL.
Yeah.
So if I go and buy a...
Look, what does BDL stand for?
Bottom drop BDL?
No, it used to be the BDL. Remington had the CDL, ADL, and BDL.
Yep.
And so it was a different variation of that is where it came from.
CDL is magazine?
No, CDL is still hinge floor plate. It was the classic... I think it's classic deluxe and then basic deluxe, I think. And then.
So even though there was three. Yeah, here you go. Remington ADL versus BDL versus CDL. Yep. Better deluxe.
Yeah.
BDL is better deluxe.
And they had one, like a name for a magazine drop one too.
Oh, here's the
Remington's had.
It was just a factory DM.
Was it?
It has the release buttons on the side.
Mm-hmm.
ADL is average deluxe.
Yep.
BDL is better deluxe. CDL is classic deluxe.
Yep. See? I got 2 out of 3.
It's very confusing, and now there's the M5.
So
right.
average deluxe was a blind top feed model. So technically there must have not been anything
There's
underneath.
nothing on the bottom, just trigger guard.
BDL came with the floor plate, right? And then CDL
came with the floor plate.
Front. Oh, of course, I don't know.
It just had a better stock on it.
It did.
It's classied up stocks. They call it the classic.
Yeah, there's no difference in bottom metal.
Nope.
It's just
well,
wood.
That's why confuse the fuck out of people.
This is where it gets confusing is BDL. So there's BDL stock, like the Remington BDL stock.
Okay.
There's, in the aftermarket world, when you refer to stock inlets, it's BDL, and that's only referring to the floor plate. It's not referring to
any other part of the
any
rifle.
part of the rifle except for the floor plate. So that's a lot of confusion in and of itself is, well, I have a CDL. Will it work in this stock that says BDL? It's like, yeah, it's just referring to your floor plate.
Yeah.
So they get very confused with
You're
that.
just describing like the most confusing. Yeah. That's why the customers are like, what in the hell's going on?
Yep. So just think, when you see a stock, look at the specs. If it says BDL, it's just saying it's cut for a hinge floor plate.
Mm.
That's it.
I've had lots of Tika guys reach out and they'll email to say, if I order the Tika rock stock, what bottom metal does it use?
Tika.
So
Factory
in
Tika,
general, especially so with Stockies, if you order a Howa stock, it's going to
Mhm.
come with the accompanying Howa bottom metal inlet, whatever that might be.
Yeah. So with Howa, for example, they have the BDL hinge floor plate, but then they also have a DBM that they're doing.
Oh, really?
But we made the stock fit both. So
Nice.
if you buy a DBM from LSI to upgrade your Howa 1500, it'll fit in the stock without modification.
Mm.
They're very similar. It's just
Do you have some type of chart that references all this information?
in
It's
my
just your
head.
We got to work together and build something. That we can. put
I think we have like a slight chart
Yeah.
because I had some trainer binders I made up. But yeah,
So basically, so far, if you're in a Remington 700, if it's any type of classic production, whatever type of model, more than likely it has a BDL inlet, if you have an inlet at all.
hmm
And if you need to replace it with something, you need to buy something that's BDL. There's not really a bottom metal and magazine.
there is.
There is.
Remington made a DEM that has these
I have
magazine release buttons on the side.
Uh-huh.
Now with that, you can either inlet for those little notches, because it's actually the same footprint as the BDL, only it has the notches on the side. So you can inlet the stock for that, or you can just convert to an aftermarket DBM. But with that, you cannot go to a BDL. So if you get a factory Remington rifle with that DM in it, you
can't
cannot
have
go
floor
to a
plate.
BDL.
Okay.
It'll only feed the first round, and that's it.
And what I tell guys on the phone too at this point, if you have a Remington 700 in whatever stock, and you do it too, you'll open up to an M5 for them.
Yeah.
We'll open up to an M5. M5 gives you so many more options in today's world as a customization of a rifle. So if you're trying to do the custom thing, new stock, new barrel, new chamber, whatever, if you're reusing the action, we call it a donor action. But I would definitely get any custom rifle today with a Remington 700 base will be an M5 bottom metal just because of options.
Yeah, well, a lot of people like that hinge foreplate, and like HS makes a flush mount DM
Yeah.
that takes the BDL, well, our BDL inlet and HS's BDL inlet.
In your opinion, what benefit is there of a floor plate over a DBM that functions really well?
I mean, it's not much, but a lot.
I can't think of any.
Yeah, but the issue is, if you had before all these new magazines came out, you had the AICS True Style magazine mil spec that rattled,
Mhm.
and it stuck out so low that hunters didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the only downfall. If you wanted something flush, you went BDL.
Yeah. When we designed ours, it definitely has zero tolerance. There's no shake, rattle, and roll.
Yeah.
Everything's fucking tight. It's mostly flush. It's at least flush at the rear and it comes down a little bit at the front. But I think that really it's education that's the difference between a BDL and a DBM and mag. Guys just don't know what options they have. And there's so many production rifles versus custom rifles. They just assume a floor plate is the way to go. For me, like if you get up there and you see an elk cross at 800 yards and you think you're in a situation to shoot, you chamber around.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now at this point, you have to unload the entire fucking rifle. You got to drop the floor plate, let all the ammo fall out, just to put the bolt back in, reload your floor plate to put the fucking floor plate back up.
Yeah.
That is the biggest negative in the world to me, and why anybody would choose that over a DBM and mag. So I've heard Whaley will talk shit, Whaley Precision Rifles, if you're listening to Matt, and he'll say, I lost a mag one time when I was just starting my hunt, and I'll never have a mag again. Well, our mag is almost nearly impossible to release the mag unintentionally. So anyways, I think that might be a black cloud over the whole DBM situation.
You never had that problem with thousands of days in the field of the magazine.
Exactly. But it could be a fear, right?
Oh, it could be. We can, literally, we make fears out of nothing all the time in the hunting industry. There's another question, and it's pretty much a simple answer, but I want to hear because I hear this on Rocks all the time. How to know if my action and setup is center feed or staggered feed?
It really has to do with the width of the magazine to start. Like the typical magazines, like the AW stuff for competition shooters today is a staggered feed.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you'll have that follower. So if you just look at the follower itself, it'll have 2-step spots where 2 rounds would sit. Maybe that's the best indicator.
Yeah.
What do you say?
No, it's accurate.
Yeah. That 2 different stepped on. So your
So-
follower is the piece that rides on the bottom of the ammunition, basically. So either you're going to see them staggered by looking down in the mag, or you're going to see your follower have 2 different steps, like it can hold 2 rounds.
But you could have staggered bed center round.
Enhance your shooting experience with Stocky stocks. Are you tired of struggling with mediocre rifle stocks that hinder your performance? Imagine having a high-quality rifle stock that not only enhances your accuracy, but also provides superior strength and a lightweight build. Stocky Stocks offers a wide range of premium rifle stocks manufactured with hand layup carbon fiber construction, a patented carbon fiber AccuBlock, and multiple finish options. Whether you're a long-range shooter or a hunting enthusiast, our stocks are perfect for you. Experience unmatched precision and durability with Stocky stocks. We provide stock installation instructions, technical support, and guidance to help you choose the right stock for your rifle. Upgrade your shooting game today with Stocky stocks.
Yes, that's true.
with tight lip.
Yeah.
Just to make it even more
Yep.
difficult. Yep.
That-
They can
that's
have-
not-
Center feed, yeah.
I
they
think
can
that's
be
right.
staggered in the box, but they can only come out in the
Yep.
center too.
I think that's why it's confusing because
Yeah.
you could have the bottom be different than the actual lips in there,
Mhm.
and the arguments go round and round about what's
Double
right and-
stack center feed, yeah, that's what we call it.
You guys
Yep.
get a lot of questions that we're talking about now as far as
Yeah.
inlets and whatnot go. It's a,
There's the three main questions to know before you start picking out a stock is what's it chambered for? How does it unload? And what's your barrel?
barrel
Contour.
contour.
Those are the three things you need to know in
Yeah.
order to get a stock. So if you don't even know that, then you got to figure it
You got
out.
some work to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and this is just talking about the bottom metal portion.
Right.
We can move into fucking barrels where a benchmark number 5 and a Bartline 3B and a benchmark number 5 and a Krieger number 3 are all the same fucking
Mhm.
contour. So they fuck with you that way too.
You can't have a standard. There's just
Ridiculous.
They have two different standards. The problem,
Yeah.
and it does get confusing because what do you guys have to play that game with everybody?
Mm-hmm.
So they have to know if it's outside of your OEM stuff. They got to know if it's a Bartline, if it's an Ace, if it's a freaking Krieger, if it's a benchmark.
A benchmark Sendero Light carbon barrel is far fatter than a proof Sendero Light contour.
Right, and then you got to know the shank, the size of the Tika is smaller than a Remington.
Yeah, so
Yep,
the
that's
Tika
one.
shank on the barrel itself. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I get why people have questions. So hopefully we can build something on Shoot to Hunt and Stockies and have it too that kind of fucking simplify all these
Some
choices.
type of FAQ. You gotta
Well,
be able
this
to do
is
something.
this is bare facts. Okay. This is how we help a customer, right? Besides, we'll usually look up their stuff. If they don't know, we just tell them to measure. Anything 3/4 of an inch or larger, we consider that a varmint barrel. Anything less than 3/4 of an inch at the muzzle is a sporter.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the
So
easiest
750
way.
and down,
Mhm.
sporter, 750 and up,
Yep.
varmint.
That makes sense.
That way you
all
can
those
just
contours we just called out, those are all 700 muzzle. And then, okay, to get even more difficult, some barrel manufacturers, whether it be 22 inch or 28 inch, will finish at 700.
Yeah.
Whereas other barrel manufacturers are given the 700 muzzle at a 26
Mm-hmm.
inch barrel length. So if you cut it off to 22 or 20,
Mhm.
it could be 760, which then puts you into the next category that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But bottom line, buy a fucking cheap caliper on Amazon and measure some shit
Yeah.
if you really want to be sure.
Opened my eyes when we were selling muzzle brakes with people fucking, well, what muzzle brake? Well, fuck, what do you have? And if it was something easy, like I have a Sendero proof or a light Sendero, that was pretty simple. But dude, everybody's barrel, if you cut it off at 20 inches and it's a 28 inch barrel,
Mhm.
it's going to be a different diameter. And people just don't fucking care. They don't know how to measure shit. And they come back with the dumbest question because you need 3 different measurements to order a muzzle brake.
You need bore diameter.
Yep.
You need barrel muzzle diameter.
Yep.
And you know what your thread pitch
Thread
is.
pitches. And I'm like, they're like, well, I don't have those. I don't know what you mean. And it's like, well, fuck. Like, I can tell you what I think, but I don't know what you got in front of you.
With a $20 set of calipers, you can stick the pointy ends down in the barrel and figure out what the diameter is if you don't know what 6.5 or 6 or whatever, 6.5 millimeter, Then you can take the same thing, flip it around, measure the outside of the barrel, the thickest point,
Mhm.
and then measure the fucking threads. If it's a half inch, if it's half 28, it's going to measure half, 0.500, or it's going to be 0.625 if it's 5/8.
I always
All in the same spot with a $20 tool, everything is answered.
like when they call in there at like 550 and they say, I need 5/8. You're like, well, I don't think that's going to work, dude.
Yeah.
And they're like, why not? Well, let's put 5/8 against 600.
He's talking about threading a
Yeah.
barrel that might be 560 in diameter at the end, and they want 5/8 24
Got
threads.
Yeah.
Now we cut them to half 28, and we can put an adapter on there.
Yes.
Bump it to 5/8. Or Ace is making us barrels now that have a fat donut. So it goes down to a
Oh,
Tika
yeah.
at the end, and then it blows it out. So
Dog
you can
nut.
do dog nut.
The dog
Makes
nut.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, because it makes it, everybody, I mean, you want the best thread engagement possible, and 5/8 seem to be pretty standard.
Dog nuts suck for us because you need to know the actual. So we carry ace barrels in stock, but they're a 27-inch barrel with a 26-inch finish, or cut it to what you want. You can't just order them with dog nuts because you need to know the exact length of the barrel in the finished part to have that dog nut on the end. And we don't want to carry 10 different lengths. But
And she is right. The funniest question I get is, what bottom metal do I need for a Tika? I always say probably a Tika.
yeah, it's always going to be a Tika or some aftermarket version that matches the Tika. So I know Mountain Tactical has stuff. UM is working on a bottom metal and mag for Tika that fits in that same footprint. We'll have some type of extended length available in the magazine. I don't know of many others that there's a lot of knockoffs that just make the outer portion aluminum instead of plastic, but still use the plastic mags.
Graybow does one, but it doesn't fit the same. It's got its own inlet.
Oh,
Really?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is difficult.
Yes,
Yeah.
bottom line, my opinion, if you're going to go with a Remington, just get an M5 because you could have the hinge or you can have a magazine. You can have either or. It's nice and simple.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you would have to get like the Hawkins.
Right.
Yeah.
But you could have that option
Yeah.
instead of having it opened up to
Right.
an M5 if you decide you want a magazine later.
Yeah.
But that's probably, and then it runs UM's bottom metal, which I'm biased. The best feeding bottom metal is Jake's new magazine bottom metals.
Thank you, Ryan.
Well, it is. I tried to break it and tried to say your shit sucks, but it didn't.
I want a sample.
I will give you a sample.
Yeah, that was quick and dirty like I thought it would be. Anything else that we didn't hit on?
Well, basically, so a BDL can be opened up to an M5. You're building a custom rifle and you have a stock that you want to stick with that was some factory stock or something you already had, and it's BDL. Can definitely be opened up to M5 for a wide variety of uses. Jessica loves talking to people on the phone about inlet stuff, so give her a call. She's obviously a wealth of knowledge on the subject. But most production rifles, whether it be Tika, Howa, Savage, whatever it might be, they're going to have their own. Like the Savage Action inlet is going to match the Savage bottom metal inlet because that's how they all do it. They want you to keep their stuff.
And bottom line, if you don't actually really know, and this podcast didn't help you at all, before you make the order, make the call.
Yeah, if you get your stock all ordered up and you order it for the wrong thing, I mean, Jessica may be a little more tolerant, but if you ask for something unique and ends up being the wrong thing, the stock is cut.
Yeah.
That's pretty tough.
Jessica, why can't you sell the rock stock?
Because it ain't my stock.
So you OEM for all kinds of companies.
Yeah.
And basically when we give you a mold and this is our design and you guys make up the mold and it's all done, it has to come through that person
Correct.
or that company, I should
Correct.
say. Yeah.
We're not about to do anything shady to anyone
Are you open to taking on more clients like we were for you?
if they're easier to work with.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
we've got a couple of custom gun builders that we're
Mhm.
working on. So
And on average, do you have like if there's a rifle builder listening right now who wants their own stock, is there some limits or something that you put in place, like limited number of initial stocks or?
listen, if you want to buy the mold, I'll make as many stocks as you want.
Okay.
On that note, how many people have done that and not sold a fucking stock?
None.
So pretty much everybody has a
Yeah.
baseline they're coming through.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's interesting. What you got to tell us? What's your number one pet peeve from the customer ordering from you?
Trying to get through all of the bullshit that they've read online as far as what they think they know.
Yep.
Because that is the hardest hurdle for us, is like getting down, kind of removing their goggles from everything that they've researched online to actually give them the facts.
Yes.
That is,
Which is exactly why a listener asked for this in the first place. It is pretty bloated out there, and there's a lot of experts.
yeah. So just put the cotton in your ears, as Don, or cotton in your mouth, as Don says, and
Yeah.
just let us guide you through it. Because we will. I mean, I've spent 45 minutes on the phone with a couple customers, just going piece by piece, making sure that they are giving me the right information.
Mm-hmm.
And if we ask you a question, we're not just asking it to ask it.
Yeah.
There is a why involved, but we're not going to tell you why, because it's just going to confuse you even more.
Mm-hmm.
So just answer our questions. If you don't know, we'll figure it out together. But
We're here to help.
we are.
It's no
here to
different than
help.
when you walk in the Okeechobee Steakhouse. You should probably order some steak.
Yeah.
No different than that, right? Right?
Yeah, I agree.
Call the stock fucking manufacturer. You might want to listen to what the stock manufacturer has to say,
I like how you said that at the end, right?
right?
You're
Right.
steering the conversation. You want somebody to do something, salesman 101, always say, right?
Yep,
Make them agree.
that's correct. Well, I just mean leave the shit up to the experts.
Well, I agree. That been call before you fucking actually buy the product.
Oh yeah.
Because you're no joke. We were just talking about this earlier. You probably know what you're doing when you ship average how many stocks a day?
About 100 a day.
Yeah, think about that. Think about if they were just bare bones Stockies sucked at making stocks, they will still not be shipping 100 fucking stocks a day.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how the market is perceived.
And if you do ever have an issue with an inlet, Stockies is more than receptive of some criticism. If you run into something that's a 10th here or a 10th there, whatever it might be, things are always improving and getting better. Sometimes other manufacturers of bottom L and mags change a tolerance somewhere, which ends up fucking with all the inlets that a stock manufacturer has written.
Mm-hmm.
You could have lined up an M5 long action from AG, from Macmillan and Manners, and our bottom middle and mag fit in the first two perfect, but the last one, there was a little nub left in there that stopped it from seating fully. So we ended up talking to Manners about that. They're going to fix it. But, sometimes an M5 is not an M5.
Yeah.
You got to be careful with that.
Well, that's why we say it's for our M5. It fits our M5. If you have something different, if you don't want to do the fitting, you can take it to a gunsmith or you can call us and we'll figure it out. I mean, I've got random files on that machine just from a recut of a guy like Bagara, for example.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing this weird DBM that's kind of a BDO, like thickness-wise, but it's an M5.
Okay.
And it's completely different. So it doesn't fit in the M5 inlet and it doesn't fit in the BDL inlet. So we've had a couple of those where we actually had Bagara send us bottom metal just so that when the customer orders, we've got it covered.
Mm-hmm.
But they're basically, all the other ones are 700 footprints.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That bottom metal's different.
Do you guys have a floor plate that you sell here?
Yeah, we sell Pacific.
Okay. No.
I do.
Yeah.
I'll put you on the spot with this question. Through the lifetime of what you guys been doing since you started making stocks, what's your return rate?
Less than 1%.
That's fantastic.
And your warranty policy?
100% lifetime warranty.
There you go.
So if I'm walking and Tanya wants to kill me, she's trying to hit me with the truck and it snaps the stock in half, would you replace it?
We have replaced stocks, even from guys that got it hooked when they were in a horse, got it hooked. Broke the stock in half. It was one of our plastic stocks, but yeah, we replaced it. No questions asked. That muzzleloader guy whose rifle blew up.
What if she didn't get me the first time? She backs up and runs over the stock again.
That motherfucker dead yet?
That's not what she's doing. I'm just saying that's how good your warranty is.
Yes, we stand by it 100%.
No, it was a good way. I said, if you got mad at me and you hit me with the truck.
What he's doing here is he's putting the murder threat on record.
Yeah, I'm putting...
just in case he gets found dead. He gets found dead here in a couple weeks.
Anyways, so your warranty is basically you're going to cover it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
No
and
questions.
we have some plans to pull the first 700 long action stock here and do some beating the shit out of it a little bit. See
Please
what happens.
do.
Yep,
It'll be fun.
We can post that video I have of Dawn at the SHOT Show.
Beating it on the ground.
Beating that.
Yeah.
It's the AccuBlock on this one. This one would be a different test because it's the carbon block.
We were allowed to try and flex a carbon shell that had just come out of the mold. So it's a complete carbon shell, 360 degrees front to back. And there was no flex, no give of any kind.
And it was 8 ounces.
Yeah, it's 8 ounces. And I'm not that big, but I was trying to bend it over my knee and I couldn't get the job done.
Do you want to talk about your foam change, or is that no? We can cut that out if you don't want to.
No, we can't.
Okay, let's talk about your foam change.
Well, a lot of customers were complaining.
Where are they from?
Rock Slide. We're complaining that it sounded too hollow. But we wanted the lightest stock possible, obviously, and we wanted to fill the butt, so we chose the lightest foam possible for the butt because it's not critical.
Mm-hmm.
People were complaining, said it sounded tinny, so we did a pour foam. So it's a high density foam. It adds an ounce to the weight, but it deadens the sound more.
You're saying pour, like pour it, not
literally
pour. You're pour foam.
Pouring it in.
Yeah, you're not spraying it in from a can.
Nope.
Basically, there's less air bubbles in this new foam.
Yeah, so it starts out like a liquid, like a resin, and you have the stock upside down. You pour it in, and then within 30 seconds, it'll start to bubble. And as it gets all the way to the top of the stock, then you turn it on its side. So then it can come out the back and then fall.
Yeah. That spray foam that comes out of a nozzle can have a tendency to even, not have perfect adhesion all the way around, whereas the pour foam...
Well, we spray the water, so it has perfect adhesion.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm speaking from other types of experience, I guess. But sometimes, so it'll have better adhesion to the inside of the stock at the back, and then it's also denser.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it helps with the sound. Did you guys do like a sound test or anything?
I think... Get that. Luke, grab that foam right there.
She already knows who's the boss around. She already got it done.
Yeah. So this is the new foam.
Okay.
That's the foam that's going to pour foam.
Yeah. Is there other foam over there?
That's good.
Yeah.
You see all the air bubbles. That one will have more air bubbles for sure.
Yeah.
Bigger
Oh, this one's way
nooks and
softer
crannies.
too.
Yeah.
That's the pour. That's the foam. That's
Yeah.
the spraying. This is a lot denser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I was talking about was like, I know you squared this off or whatever, but sometimes you'll get this kind of effect when you're spraying something in because it's expanding from each spray little tube rather when you pour it in and it kind of comes all up at once.
Yeah.
Badass.
So now that you have I'm guessing the first one, you tell me if I'm wrong, with molded grip texture, are you guys going to do any of that to yours?
The texture?
Yeah, that grip texture.
Maybe.
We got to see that first one first.
Yeah, because that's like the number one thing I see probably is there's no grip, which I never had a problem with. It never slipped out of my hands. But it is cool to see it firsthand, that the little grip in there, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's not so happy about it. Because it does make everything go up in cost.
Oh, yeah. It's going to raise. Again, it's not. We want to give a low price, not a low price, but a fair price for a stock. Right. Oh. And you're just adding cost at that point for really what you can put the texture in the paint and be done with it.
Yeah.
The Rockslide crowd's special. They wanted their
They're very special.
cake and eat it too.
I do like them though.
Yeah.
But they're very special.
They are special. They're buyers.
Yeah.
They are buyers. All right. I think we covered everything. I think Luke needs to take a picture of that too. Together. But
I think it was good. So every rock stock basically has this.
Yes, it's going to have the pour foam in it.
The new pour foam in the back end.
And all of your stocks. Pour foam or some still with that?
We're going to use up what we have of that in our stocks, and then everything's going to pour foam. I've got drums coming of it.
Nice.
So
probably adds a little bit of extra labor to it too.
No? We've got the little guns, so
gotcha.
It works fine. Just messier.
Yeah. You got to figure out the exact amount to put in each so you don't have too much overflow on the top.
Correct. Oh. Yeah, Don put like 25 pumps into one when we were testing it. That shit went everywhere.
Gotta start somewhere.
Yeah. He's like, well, let's start 25. You want to know how many it takes now? 6.
Oh, he was a little over.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Well, that's it. I guess we're out of here.
I think it was good. I think we covered everything.
Yeah. And then reach out. How do you get a hold of you?
Phone, email.
They got a
message.
New website up. New website.
Yes, we got a new website.
Very
finally.
Nice.
Thank you. It should be a lot easier to navigate.
Uh-huh.
We have a lot of stocks just broken down by category. So if you need a Tikka stock, you got a Tikka.
And your general lead time is
6 weeks for finish, 3 days for raw.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
All right. Well, we're wrapping her up. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Thanks.